Hi, I'm Tom Nugent, Director of Field Operations for Michigan Farm Bureau, and we're going to embark upon a history tour of the organization. Today we're going to start with the beginnings of Farm Bureau in the 1920s and 30s and what formed our organization. In 1914, President Wilson signed the Smith-Lever Act creating the Extension Service. Farm Bureau is uniquely connected to the Extension Service at its beginning because colleges that cooperated with the USDA brought out farm advisors or local ag agents. Before a county agent could be approved, a support group of local farmers must be organized to help direct the local extension projects. Counties had to be organized into those local farmers bureaus before they could do any work. An example of that was a young Clark Brody set up in St. Joseph County to work on the issue of hog cholera as the first issue for the St. Joseph County Farm Bureau. The Michigan Farm Bureau was born during a happy time for most Americans, but it was a sad time for American farmers. World War I had just ended, but with the armistice came the end of agricultural prosperity as well. Farm prices collapsed, farm costs skyrocketed. To add to the farmers' misery, an enormous increase in automobile traffic was destroying rural roads and bridges. Huge property tax increases were levied on farmers to pay for repairs, crushed by the financial burden. Many farmers went bankrupt. Farmers realized they could not solve their problems alone, so in 1919, farmers and extension agents from 57 counties met in Ag Hall on the campus of Michigan Agricultural College. Dr. Eben Mumford, the state extension agent leader, proposed the idea that the loosely knit county farm bureaus unite together under one statewide organization. Missouri had done that same thing in 1915 as the first state farm bureau. The idea was strongly supported by Dr. Frank Kedzie, the president of the Michigan Ag College, and Dean of Agriculture Robert Shaw. They joined together, forming the Michigan State Farm Bureau. Robert Morrill, a fruit grower from Berrien County, was elected the first president. The objective stated in the first bylaws was to encourage and correlate the efforts of the county farm bureaus, to provide ways and means for concerted effort in the solution of agricultural problems of state or national scope. When asked during the meeting who would like to join this newly formed Michigan State Farm Bureau, the first county farm bureau to raise its hand and sign on the dotted line was the Oakland County Farm Bureau. County farm bureaus would pay a membership dues of $10 a year, with $5 going to the county farm bureaus and $4.50 to the Michigan State Farm Bureau, and 50 cents going to the fledgling and newly formed American Farm Bureau, tying together the three levels of the farm organization. The first membership drives were conducted by membership solicitors instead of farmer members that believed in the cause. To earn their $10 a day, the solicitors made rash promises to keep farmers, promises the young Farm Bureau could not keep. In 1920, the Michigan State Farm Bureau had 47,500 members. In 1921, that number dropped to 21,358 after the Farm Bureau wool pool failed to pay even a quarter of the promised price. In March of 1921, Clark Brody was appointed Secretary and General Manager. The Board of Directors was established and expanded to 11 members. 5 commodity exchanges, the Michigan Potato Growers, the Michigan Milk Producers Association, the Michigan Livestock Exchange, the Michigan Elevator Exchange, and the Michigan Fruit Growers all had a director on the board. In 1925, the Young Aggressive Farm Bureau waged an all-out war in the legislature for a gasoline tax. The farmers' case was simple. Drivers who use the roads should pay for them. Governor Alexander Groesbeck was bitterly opposed to the gas tax and vetoed the bill when it got to his desk. But in the end, the Farm Bureau won the fight. Through its membership and its ability to lobby, the 2-cent gas tax was enacted into law. The Michigan State Farm Bureau also appealed successfully for a law requiring the accurate labeling of the origin and purity of seed sold in Michigan. Despite the victories, the Michigan State Farm Bureau struggled to stay in business. The Farm Bureau cut off financial connections with the Extension Service and started selling policies from State Farm Mutual Automobile Insurance Company. The Depression dropped membership to an all-time low of 1,542, but the Farm Bureau still had the influence to get farm inputs like feed, seed, and fertilizer ruled exempt from the Michigan State sales tax, saving many farmers from ruin and putting another feather in the Farm Bureau cap. In 1935, Jack Yeager was hired as organization director and created Community Farm Bureau groups that became Community Action Groups. The Community Farm Bureaus would become a vital way to disseminate information to members, encourage non-members to attend smaller meetings to get comfortable with Farm Bureau, and for members to provide direct feedback to the county and state organization on issues and problems facing farmers. The Junior Farm Bureau was created for members too old for 4-H and would be soon farming on their own. What would become the Young Farmer Program became the perfect way to get younger farmers involved and provide leadership training when they joined the Farm Bureau. Also created at that time were the county women's committees, made up of elected representatives from each of the county farm bureaus, to concentrate on civic affairs and social needs of the farming community. Membership grew steadily in the late 30s and in the early 40s, and members developed a sense of ownership and commitment to their organization, and the Michigan State Farm Bureau truly became a grassroots organization.